What's up, folks? Time for another edition of Shark Week. We're going to talk about the third Sharknado, and this one's called Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no. And things start off in Washington, D.C., where Finn, the hero of the Sharknadoes, gets rewarded a medal from the president himself, who's played by Mark Cuban. The pun is, Mark Cuban was on the TV show Shark Tank. Also, he's just, famous for owning the Mavericks and, being kind of a money mogul. But he makes a big cameo in this. He fights the sharks with Finn when they start to attack the Washington, D.C. They knock over the Washington Monument. They knock over the Lincoln Monument. It's just like they're in Washington, D.C., and the Sharknado hits Washington, D.C. So I'm thinking like the whole movie's going to take place in Washington, D.C., but it doesn't. That's sort of just like the intro of Sharknado until they break into the Sharknado credits. And then ultimately we move to the real location, which is Universal Studios. So Sharknado hits the Universal Studios, and that's like the big highlight of the whole movie. But let's get into some of our other things. Mark Cuban makes a cameo here. Ann Coulter, the alt-right critic who's pretty famous for her Republican books. Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk, makes a big cameo here. So that's the intro, and it's a good start. So we don't really hit Washington, D.C. the whole movie, and it's not even on. It doesn't even take all place in Universal Studios. It hits NASCAR. Ultimately, it hits a NASCAR rally. But I'm starting to think, I don't know, like, I feel like they get money from these visits where Universal Studios and NASCAR. I mean, what's next? Sharknado at a Kid Rock concert, Sharknado at a monster truck rally. I mean, there's so many things they could do with these Sharknado movies. Talk about some of the pros of the movie. The highlight of this movie was definitely Cassandra Skirbo, who plays Nova, the waitress from the first movie. She's back, and she's teamed up with Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle, and they kind of teamed up to be sort of Sharknado warriors. And I really thought Frankie Muniz was really a good addition to this movie, but unfortunately they kill him off. I know a spoiler, but he really, like, for a movie goofy like this, I would have preferred him to be in the movie longer, because he kind of fits in the whole B-movie, jokey atmosphere, but they killed him off, and I'm like, okay, well, why would you have him in the movie if you're only going to have him for, like, 15 minutes? So that's kind of a con, but some more pros. Alright, let's get into the cons. I think this one suffers a little bit more than the last two, because I feel like the movie's starting to dwindle into a joke that's gone on too long. It's kind of like an SNL skit that's been stretched out for 2 hours, and now they're making it more and more. So it just feels like a never-ending shark joke. And eventually, all the kills kind of blend in together. And the movie feels kind of too long. And I think the joke just feels like, because ultimately we get David Hasselhoff, and it's like, everyone loves the Hoff, obviously, but even the Hoff can kind of be utilized into a joke that's sort of just like, all right, the joke's here, and the Knight Rider's here, and they have to go out, and then, like, when they have to go out into space and shut it down from space, it's kind of like, it nullifies, like, from funny to just like just kind of like a circus of one pun after another pun. And ultimately, I had to give this movie a lower rating than the first two, because at least I think they were trying. Now they're just like, kind of like, just, you know, sounds like, it looks like they're just like getting drunk and writing these scripts and whatever, you know. So I gotta give this one a C-, which is a downgrade from the other two. And I can't give this on the beer scale because at this point I am hungover from Sharknado. So I give this 2 hangovers out of 5. And yeah, onward to the 4th one. Stick around for that one. That's it for this review. See you next time.